What's going on, friend? Welcome to this episode of Under the Covers. I'm your host, Preston Schmidli, and I'm really excited for today's video. We're going to be going through a book that I have personally, I have left so many notes in this thing, and I've read it a few times in my life. I got to tell you, it's one of the best sales books I've ever read. We're going to be talking about Sales EQ by Jeb Blount today, one of my favorite sales books. Oftentimes in coaching and consulting clients, one of the most interesting things I encounter is people thinking they have marketing problems and they really have sales problems. Because what I find a lot when we dive into their business and what's going on, they don't have a lead problem. They have leads. The problem is those leads aren't becoming deals. And if you have leads and you don't have deals, then the bottleneck is in your sales process. Jeb actually breaks down in Sales EQ really how to understand those desires, how to speak to those desires of your client, how to dive into the emotional side of selling, the emotional side of buying, and support your clientele in getting what they want. And ultimately, once they do, you get what you want, right? So Sales EQ was phenomenal because, obviously it touches on some prospecting stuff. It touches on some tactical stuff. But mainly this book is specifically about understanding the psychology of selling, about understanding what needs to happen emotionally for a consumer to buy and how you can give that to them. Honestly, I've read this book twice now. Man, I feel like I level up every time. And I've been doing sales for like a little over 20 years now. I've read a lot of sales books, and for me to just be like wowed by one, normally I get like 1, 2, 3 things that I go, oh, that was good, that was cool, some small nuggets throughout the book. This one was way different. This was an avalanche of good information. Both times I read it at different phases of my life, I got different things from it. And so it is kind of cool like that, where it's like an album that you love and you listen to it after a few years and you hear things you didn't hear before. I strongly recommend the Sales EQ. If you're in a sales job, it's your job to sell, which means it's your job to help people buy. It's your job to understand their desires. And if you don't understand their desires and the conversation's not about them and those desires, you're really missing out. I want you to get into this. I want you to buy this book. I want you to read it as soon as you can, digest it. The audiobook's fine if you want to do the audiobook. I did, one of the times I read this, I did the audiobook with the paperback, with the hardback. But I would strongly recommend, the amount of notes I have in this thing are nuts. Plus, there's a lot of graphics, not a lot, but there's enough graphics in the book to where I feel like an audiobook kind of robs you of some of the dynamic experience that you get when you read this. So once again, go pick your copy up right now. Sales EQ by Jeb Blount. I promise you, if you haven't read any of Jeb's stuff, he has a lot of great books. He's got, obviously Sales EQ, but he's got Fanatical Prospecting. He's got Selling in a Crisis. I can't remember all of them off the top, but he's got like close to 10 books, and I've read most of them, and they're just solid. Like, Jeb is a solid sales leader. He's probably one of the best sales trainers I feel in the space right now that's currently doing it. Definitely get this book. It'll change your life if you're in sales. I can promise you, if you have leads. Okay, so that's the first part. If you don't have leads, start there. Get some leads. But if you have leads and you're not happy with the amount of money you're making, this is a solution. This is a 6-7 figure solution to your problems. If you have leads already and you're not converting the amount that you want to convert, get Sales EQ by Jeb. I promise you, you will appreciate the fact that you did. Future you is thanking you for getting this. So that's what I want to go over today on Under the Covers. One of my favorite reads of the sales arena in the last 10 years, I'd say. And it helped me unlock some new versions of myself and new levels of success, and I think it'll do the same for you. So check out Sales EQ today. Thanks for stopping by this episode of Under the Covers. I'll see you on the next episode.